What's up, my Taylor family? We are back with another video today, and today I am doing a how I slay my mannequin. This has been a long awaited video, and so I am so happy to bring this to y'all today. Okay, so I'm just using my Too Faced Super Coverage Concealer in the color Mahogany and Cocoa. I put a very little bit of my Mahogany and I put a lot of my Cocoa because I do want her to have more of a deeper complexion, because that's what my customers like when they order their mannequins. They really love the deeper complexion mannequins. So I went ahead and I used more Cocoa with just a little bit of Mahogany, just to give it a little bit of a more of a brown to deep skin tone versus just a chocolate skin tone. So we just using our Morphe brush. I will list that all below, the brushes that I use, and I promise y'all I will list it this time. If y'all do know me on Instagram, y'all know that I recently got an abscess drain and a tooth pulled. And so my mouth was hurting really bad. So after I did the voiceover for that video, I had to lay down and like go to sleep because my mouth was hurting. But I'm feeling a lot better now. So I'm going to go ahead and list that all down below in the description box today. And as y'all can see, I'm not blending it the way that I would do my makeup, because if y'all know me, y'all know that I do not write my products across my face. I don't do that. I pat. But with the mannequin, you have to swipe it because it completes, like, it gets a complete, even, smooth layer over the mannequin, because the mannequin is not a human, of course. It does not have pores and it cannot create heat for the product to melt. So if you just try to pat it in, it's gonna leave stipple marks on your mannequin, and you don't want that. You want it to look even and smooth all over. So you just wipe it until you see it's all one layer and it's all completely smooth. I am so excited to actually be doing this video for y'all, because I tried to do one once before for y'all a couple of months ago when I first did my mannequins, but it came out so trash. Like, the way that the video was set, the way that I was trying to film was so trash. So I'm so happy to bring this to y'all this time, you know, with a whole different setup, because y'all can see it all clear. Y'all can see it's all, you know, very vivid. You can see like it's like you there. I just took a buffing brush and I went in and I took this brush all over the face and down the body, and I buffed it on top of it and wiped it, like, so it can complete one, so it could be one even layer and it wasn't caked. As y'all can see, that her skin, like the skin on the mannequin, even though it's not skin, the plastic on the mannequin looks really smooth and all even in one layer. So you definitely want to go in with a second brush, like a buffing brush, and just wipe it. Swipe, you guys, swipe it across front, like back to left to right, to complete that really smooth image, like, you know, that really smooth layer of foundation on the mannequin. Now I'm using the ColourPop Deep 46 Concealer, and I'm going directly under the eye. I'm going to do it the same way that I do you know, any other concealer, like I would do it myself. Go under the eye, on the chin, the lip, the nose, and the forehead. I don't think I put much on the lip. I may not have put any on the lip. We'll see. I don't remember. But yeah, I do it the same way that I do it. I just don't put a lot on the chin. I don't put a lot on the chin. I don't put a lot on the forehead. Well, I do quite a bit on the forehead, but I don't put a lot on the nose, because the nose tends to get patchy after a while if you put too much. So I go down and put little dots and I blend that out. I start with the chin and the nose and the forehead first, because if you don't blend those first, it'll leave it looking so, like, you will see the lines through the product. So if you try to add a layer of foundation and then go back and add another layer on top of this mannequin, it will leave big patchy hole, like look like it leave a big patchy holes on the mannequin. You can't really do that. You can't really layer it. So as you can see, I'm blending it really fast while all the product is still wet, to try to make sure it doesn't leave that patchy hole look. And I start on the forehead, the chin, and the nose, and then I work my way to under the eye, because I made my mistake doing it the opposite way before, and it just does not work out that great for me. So as you can see, I'm patting it in with the concealer this time, only because the foundation already has that layer underneath. And so I don't want to move that layer underneath, because like I said, it cannot melt into a skin because it has no skin. So I go in and I pat it. And then after I pat it, I go ahead and, like, you know, buff it out in certain areas where it looked too cakey. And I'm just using a Real Technique setting brush, and I work my way back in between that foundation brush and that concealer brush to make sure that it's evenly blended, because it's not like a human, you guys. It's not a human. You have to make sure it's completely blended before moving on to the next step, because once you set it, it'll look chalky. I went into the CoverGirl Full Spectrum Concealer. It was a little bit brighter, and I put it right in those creases of the eye just to give it a little bit of brightness. I don't know what color this was. It just kept saying, it just says Full Spectrum on it, but I'll look again and leave it in the description box down below because I don't remember what color it was. But I went in and I just patted that in on both sides just to give it a little bit more brightness because I didn't want to be too neutral. I wanted it to be, you know, popping, okay? This is the ColourPop 210 foundation stick, and I'm using this to contour, and I'm using the Morphe E brush. It's the E series brush, and I pat it in. The reason why I pat it in is because if you swipe it, it's gonna, like I said, it's gonna leave like little patchy holes that you cannot fix. You can't fix it unless you wipe the whole thing off, or unless you wipe that one spot off and try to start again. But if you wipe that one spot off, it's gonna leave the rest of the face patchy when you try to blend it again. I've been through so many mannequins, you guys. I promise you, I won't lie to y'all. So you have to really like pat it the second time, because if you swipe it, you're gonna move that foundation and it's gonna leave it looking like you created a hole inside of the mannequin's face. It's really creepy. And so to avoid that, you just pat that second layer in until you got it on there nice and perfect, and then you could swipe a little bit in certain areas that you want to get rid of a little bit of product, but you can't really swipe too much, because if you do, it'll be really bad. I'm using another E series brush by Morphe, and I'm just taking that same contour. I dip it on the on that foundation, and I contour from the nose into the brows, because once I do the brows, it's gonna all blend in so good together. As you can see, I'm going into the front of that brow, and you see how great it looks. Now I'm just taking my Laura Mercier translucent setting powder, and I'm tapping it down the nose. I guess my husband edited the part out of me setting, but all you do is tap it like I do my normal face. If you watch my videos, you see like I'm doing that right now. You just go in and you tap it and you distribute that powder all over. You guys are going to see me do the forehead, I believe, in a minute. Oh, no, I probably have already done that. But as you can see, everything is completely blended. It's because you have to make sure it's blended before setting. You have to make sure it's blended before, you know, going to the next step. Blend, blend, blend. That's the most important key when trying to do mannequins. You have to blend that baby out. I went into my MAC Mineralized Skin Finish Powder in Dark Deepest with another Morphe E series brush, and I set the mannequin all over, like the foundation color. I set it all over in those areas, and I'm just pushing it in. You don't want to really swipe your powder until you set it first, because once you set it, then the product won't move as much. So now you could swipe. But right now I'm just patting it in, as you can see, because it's not set completely. And I'm patting it on the forehead to make sure that when I do my contour, it all melts like together. And look how good that is coming out, sis. Slate. I'm using the Black Radiance contour palette, and I use the same exact brush, and I tap into the both of them. And I started by swiping, and then I was like, oh, I made a mistake. I forgot that I didn't set this part. As you can see, I'm like sweeping it across, and I forgot that I didn't set the contour. So I was like, let me stop before I go any further. Now you guys can see I'm just setting it first, because I totally forgot that I didn't set it. I was thinking that I did with the all over setting powder, but it wasn't. That was me just setting the foundation color. Now I had to go in and press it and then swipe it everywhere that I wanted the contour to be. So now I'm using the Anastasia Ebony Dip Brow on the 7B brush. And as you can see, I'm just lightly lifting and tapping where I want that brow to be. So I lift, tap, lift, tap, lift, tap. Everywhere I want that brow to be. And then I go in and I swipe it to make that line straight, because right now it looks like a little, like, you know, rigidy, like a little ridgets or whatever, however you say it, I don't know. And then I go in and I swipe it to get it a nice and even. I don't know why this part repeated itself. I don't know what's going on here. Sorry, y'all. I guess with me and my husband, we both be trying to edit, and if I miss something, I don't know what happened. But anywho, I'm going in and I'm swiping it to make that line nice and straight. And I'm going to keep doing that. And then once I'm done with that, you guys will see what I do. But I keep doing that until I feel like the line is really nice and crisp. It's a mannequin. There's no rules. I know people be like, yeah. But anyways, I take my brush and I just tap it really fine and create lines to make it look like hair strokes. So I just tap. I'm not doing any drawing of the lines. I learned my lesson the hard way because it's harder to do it that way. And recently I was like, let me just try something different real quick. And I tapped it and I was like, oh my gosh, that is so much easier. I can't believe I didn't do that before. But look how it's already starting to come together and look like hair. And so y'all, the brows are pretty simple. At first, I was doing it really hard the first time. I was always tapping it on the outside, but I was trying to draw it on the inside. I cannot believe that I was trying to do that when I could have just tapped it on the inside as well. And once I get to the inside, to the inner part of the brow, I just, whatever product is left on the brush, I don't put any more. And I just go in and tap whatever's on the brush and make it look really nice and soft. I did go back into my contour powder and tap it on the front parts of the brush, of the brows, to soften it up even more. And now I'm just using that same ColourPop concealer and my my MAC 252S brush to go ahead and, sharpen up those brows and fix any mess ups that I did. This is a Morphe E30 brush that I'm using just to pat that all in and to blend it out. And as you can see, I use my pajama pants as like my transition. I wipe I always wear these pajama pants when I do like my mannequin, so I could clean my brush and get all the extra products off. And then I go back in and, finish blending everything out. Yeah, I don't mind my face. I don't know what's going on, but right now I'm having a major breakout. My face is like looking like a struggling freaking, I don't know, but it's struggling. Now I'm just using my Berry Adore Blush Trio with the Morphe brush, and I'm just tapping that over the fake cheeks of this mannequin, a fake cheek. And I like to blush it up pretty good. Make it look nice and, all blushed and all cute. And I decided to use the Crayon Case and Glola highlighter and just, what I was trying to say, glow up this mannequin. So I use the Crayon Case and Glola because it looks really pretty on the brown skin mannequins. And I like to, this is my first time using it on this one. Normally I use the Juvia's Place Nubian 2, but I haven't been able to find it. So I was like, this is really like, bronzy for a brown skin mannequin. So I decided to use it for this one. I took a Q-tip on the nose because it's just easier to apply. And it puts it directly where I want it to be. I'm taking the Queen by Taz 90s Block Party eyeshadow palette, and I'm going to use the purple, the pink next to it, and the black. And I always just start by patting it because, of course, it has to stick to the wet concealer first because it's not going to stick if you don't. You are going to get quite a bit of fallout. I do blow it lightly to get all the fallout off because with the mannequins, it's not going to warm up and stick very well. So you are going to have a lot of fallout. So you have to just blow it as you go, and it won't stay, of course. It doesn't stick. You just have to wipe it or blow it as you go to get that fallout off of there. Now I'm just using a NYX liquid liner, and I go in and draw really small lines under the eye to create an eyelash illusion. I did do these ones a little bit too thick, which was an accident. I didn't realize that I had a lot more concealer on the tip of my eyeliner. I mean, a lot more eyeliner on the tip of my eyeliner brush. And so when I started putting it on, it was already too thick. So I had to go in and add some thinner ones to make it look more believable, even though it kind of didn't. But it still looked a lot better than just leaving it all really thick like that. I always just take a Q-tip and I wipe the inside of the eye. Please don't mind my naked kids. I keep telling them to go in their room and they do not listen. But I wipe the inside of the eye to make sure I get all the eyeshadow off, to get all the fallout off, so that the eye looks really nice and pure. And I was scratching off the residue that wasn't coming off with the Q-tip and just wiping it again. And I take a wet Q-tip, I dip it in some water on one side to leave the other side dry so I could flip in between the two. Now I'm just taking my eyelash from a Zayla Rihanna style gingerbread. I did cut it really short because if you cut it too long, it's not going to look right on the mannequin. So you have to kind of cut it shorter than the eye to make it look okay, to fit the eye. And as you can see, I tried to tilt it forward so you guys could see, but I put it literally right on that line. I'm trying to see if I pull it down. I thought I did. I don't know. My husband probably edited that part out. But I went back in with the same colors that I used for the foundation, the Mahogany, as well as the Cocoa, to put that on the lips to create a lipstick color. And I also did wipe the inside of the lips out too from all the powder that fell in there. So I go back into those two colors, blend it out, and create a nice little cute nude lip color. I did use a lighter color on the inside to get that ombre effect because, of course, I wouldn't be me if I didn't. And just blended that out. And then I used the same color, the MAC Dark Deep, for the foundation to set, because you have to set it with powder no matter what or it won't work. So I set the outside with Dark Deep and I set the inside with Banana to give it that two-tone color so I didn't lose that ombre effect. Now I'm just taking the same colors that we used for the foundation and we just gonna, do the body. This is exactly why the mannequins cost so much. And honestly, babes, I'm not gonna be taking any more orders from mannequins right now because it really stalls me being able to do YouTube videos and can be consistent with my Instagram because it takes me quite a bit of time. So after that's done, I did put some of the crayon case. It's the silver shimmer on the body just to give it a nice little sparkle. Also, I will be giving this wig away. So if you guys would like to, I will post details very soon because this wig will be in a giveaway. And if y'all like how this wig looks, I will be doing a detailed tutorial on how I colored it. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I love y'all. Make sure y'all hit that subscription button and I'll catch y'all later. Mwah. Bye.